Yo, welcome to the Musiclifesocial podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Raheem, aka Big Heem, in the building.
I'm Rob representing the MLS and the double S.
This is G Wiz repping the West Coast.
Word, that's what's up. What's up? So tonight we have a very, very special guest with us. She is a hip hop scholar. She is also an MC. She is the executive director of Hip Hop Congress, the Atlanta chapter. All right. This is a collective of artists, educators, activists that work to improve community and social conditions through the hip hop culture. I want to introduce no other than Dr. Kelly Glow is in the building. Give it up.
Hey, let's glow. Let's glow. Peace, love, and light. Transmitting live from planet Earth. Like he said, it's the one and only Dr. Kelly Glow.
That's what's up. Well, thanks for joining us. We definitely appreciate your time and you joining us tonight. Real quick, before we jump into it, for people who may not be familiar with you, give a brief summary about yourself.
I am a 50-year-old phenom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to still pursue my dream in this rap game. I took a separate route. So whereas a lot of people started their career at age 20, like I'm starting mine at 50. My parents always just instilled the importance of education. So I went as far as I can go so that I have like no excuse. So I have my doctorate in education, in school improvement with an emphasis on hip hop studies, because that's just who I am. I am hip hop.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I'm shocked by the 50.
Right.
I watch videos and things, but that's something I never would have guessed.
I feel like that's really unique to my story. Like, I feel like I should say that more. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really special. Like, I think that's part of the story. I think like hip hop itself is only 50 years old. Well, 53 actually. 1973. So I feel like we're still very young when it comes to art forms. And I feel like we're still, defining the rules of what this is. So who says I can't start my career like right now? Why not?
I'm saying you don't look 50. That's where I'm going with it. But yeah, you can take it there.
Yeah. Thank
you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And you just dropped a single earlier this year, Black Girls Magic. And I listened to the song, and it's a very powerful song, women empowerment, things of that nature. Talk about that a little bit real quick before we jump into, the Hip Hop Congress.
For sure. Like, I feel it's important that I represent a counter narrative to what's being pushed in the music industry, especially with women right now. They're telling a story of women, living that savage life, chasing a bag, trapping, all that kind of stuff, which we all know exists. It's real cool. But what about people like me? People who go to work every day, people who, have high education. Where's our story? So we're doing phenomenal things every day in all industries. Like I mentioned Oprah in the song. I mentioned Kamala Harris in the song. I mentioned Serena Williams in the song. I mentioned Halle Berry. Like, we're making strides in all areas of life, and they don't really promote that well. So I just want to celebrate, the phenomenal Black women that are all around the world. So it's called Black Girl Magic. Yeah, and I have this really dope remix. I'm so excited. It's actually going to drop on June 27th, next Friday, but it's a remix by DJ Nervex, and it's banging, it's slapping. Like, it has like this 90s like hip hop nostalgic kind of bop to it, and I have these really dope street dancers dancing all throughout it. So I'm excited for that. So stay tuned for the remix.
Okay, so you're gonna have visuals with it? That's what you're saying? You have to...
Yes, the visuals. Directed by Will Thomas. I don't know if y'all know him, but like, we call him the Hype Williams of Christian rap. So if you go back and start looking at all the like Christian rap artists that are out there, like, he's done everybody. You know what I'm saying? He's like really, really dope. We have a good relationship. He's done some of my visuals in the past. So we came together on this one, and it's nice. If I do say myself.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And we looking forward to that. Go ahead, Raphael. Did you or Gary? Did y'all want to lead
No,
off the
I'm
first?
I'm curious. What led you to want to pursue this particular path? In this stage of life. What drives you in that regard?
So I've always been a performer. I wrote my first rap when I was like 12 years old. Before that, my first element in hip hop, I don't know if y'all know, it's 10 elements, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my first element in hip hop was dance. So at age 8, I just started making up routines, like watching Yo on TV raps and Rap City and stuff like that. Then I would go in my room and sit and make up my own like dance routines, teach it to like the kids in the neighborhood, teach it to my relatives and stuff like that, start performing. Then I wrote my first rhyme when I was 12. I'm from South Central Los Angeles, and right on the edge of like Compton. And I wrote a diss rap about this guy that lived next door to me, because he kept sagging his khakis, you know what I'm saying, and trying to be
Right.
hard like the gangsters around. And I was just like, yo, that's whack. So that's like I wrote my first rap. But I've always been performing my whole life. But like I said, like I also come from a household where my parents, they just didn't play that, right? There were opportunities. Like I can tell y'all this one story, right? So I was dancing in high school um I had a partner. So we were dancing backup for an R&B singer in this like random remote spot, like Dalton, Georgia. But it was like this artist showcase or whatever. So this guy came up to my friend and was like, "You guys are really dope. I got this video coming out. I would love for y'all to dance in it." But I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to talk to my moms." So my mom, she took one look at the dude. He had like piercings and like tattoos and stuff. She was like, "Oh yeah, no, y'all not going nowhere with him. Y'all, the guy was Dallas Austin, okay?"
Oh,
Oh, oh man.
I was like, "But mom, it's Dallas." She was like, "I don't care who he is. Like, you're not
Oh
going
man.
nowhere with him." So it's like I've always had this, but my parents is like, "No, they didn't want me to be the starving artist out here struggling. You know what I mean? They wanted me to set myself up into a position. My dad says, like, looking back now that he sees like how the culture has grown and how influential hip hop is, he wish he would have allowed me, to maybe get involved more. But that's it. I just always had it. I just decided to just finish off school and everything. But now I'm like, okay, it's either now or never, because I ain't getting no younger.
That's what's
none of
up.
us are. None of us are.
It's so crazy being that you say, you disclose your age that you're 50. And the one thing about, I guess, the culture of hip hop, they always try to put an age limit on it, in which that's a stigma. I think artists that came up, from my generation, they're trying to shake that stigma. Like you can still you still put out albums and rap when you're 50 or 60 plus years old, because they do it in blues, rock, and country and stuff like that. So is that one of your motivating factors too, from like certain artists that you listen to that are up there in their age as well? And it's like, well, they're still doing it, so no reason why I can't still do it.
Yeah, I'm really challenging that concept of ageism in the music industry. Like, I'm so mad at Andre 3000 because he did an interview and he was like, "Yeah, I don't have anything to rap about. Like, what I'm gonna talk about, a colonoscopy or whatever." You know what I'm saying? Because like he's in his 50s too, and I'm like, "Yes, please rap about that." You know what I'm saying? Because that's what
Yeah,
we going
yeah,
through right now.
Right.
Make it funky. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
mean,
yeah,
music is
Nas has hit his peak.
universal.
Yeah, Nas has hit his peak
Yeah, for
at this
sure.
age, dropping, those 6 albums, so
Yes.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, just think about when you were in your 20s, like, what was you talking about? A whole lot of nothing. You didn't even really, like, experience much. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, I
Right.
feel like I have, like, life experiences to share, stories to tell. that have a lot more substance, you know, that'll help people. So
Yeah.
Word, that's what's up. So let me touch on the 11th annual Hip Hop Congress International Hip Hop Conference that's going to be Friday, June 27th. And the organization, I know you all have like 5 key concepts: education, artist development, community improvement, socio-political activism, entrepreneurship. To explain to me and tell me how hip hop relates and falls into those concepts, because I mean, we're all products of the golden era, and hip hop, it started off as voice of the people and to elevate us and make us aware of what's going on in our communities. So in your words, you know, how do you feel hip hop applies to the organization and everything that you're a part of?
definitely, it resonates. KRS once said it best, and Minister Server always reminds us that rap is something that you do, but hip hop is how you live. It's a way of life. So yeah, we're artists. Yeah, you know, we make products to sell. But a lot of people have that misconception when they think hip hop, they think rap. But rap is not hip hop. Rap is a part of hip hop. And it has been commercialized, it's been commodified, it's been perverted, it's been misused. But all of those other things has always been what real hip hop has been about. It's always been a movement of the people, especially young people, who needed a platform to discuss things like social issues, things that's going on around them, their frustrations, and outlet emotionally. So all of that does go together. So we're really excited to have the conference here in Atlanta. This is the first time it will be in Atlanta. I started the inception of the chapter, the first Atlanta chapter, a year ago. I found out about the organization while I was working on my doctorate. I went out to California to observe a program that used hip hop daily after school. So they did all of the different elements with the students after school. So when I found out about the program from the executive director, Rahman Jamal, he runs Rap Force Academy and Afro Bushwit, which is like it combines hip hop and karate. So I was like, when I get back to Atlanta, I want to get involved. He was like, that would be great, but we don't have any representation in Atlanta. And I'm like, what? Like, Atlanta influences everything. Like, what you talking about? Like,
Right.
we got so much going on.
That's true.
So I was like, well, you know, I'll start a chapter. So literally, we've been active for a year now. And so we're going to host the conference this year. And it's just, honestly, just a gathering of a peaceable gathering, I should say, where we can share those cultural practices, where people have different things going on. So activists, artists, educators, we can all come in one space, and hear about some of the great things that people are doing, share those practices, get to know each other, and further connect. So it's like a collective of people. We have chapters internationally, so they will be watching via StreamYard from like the Congo and Kenya, South America. They're really excited to be able to tap in that way. And then we have people also coming in from different chapters that we have across the United States.
Okay, that's dope. That's real dope. So what was it being so crazy, being that, you know, we heavily involved in the culture of hip hop, like you said, it's a way of life. It's not something that you just do. Because I was like, I never heard of it. Then you say you started a year. So what was that transition like you first, were you trying to upstart something that's already existed on another side of the globe, and you trying to implement stay true to their influence of what they're doing, but have put a little Atlanta flavor into it? How was that like? What was it challenging for you, or it just came seamless for you, being that you know you come from the culture of hip hop?
Right. I think anytime you're doing something that's of a value, people will recognize that. So once I just started being vocal about what I was doing, honestly, like the right people were attracted to it. You know, I have a really phenomenal team, people who do all types of things. Antar Fierce, he's a graffiti artist, like OG from the 80s. So he connected us with the street art side of the culture. Lady Crow, she's a popper, and street dancer as well. So she's connected us with the dance part. Uh, Terry Tetris, he's like a community organizer. Anytime stuff is going on, especially from the nonprofit side, he's usually involved with that. So he operates as our like community developer. You know, we just have a really phenomenal team. And our main purpose that sets us apart from other organizations is that we just aim to put on events for the community throughout the year. So we try to do 2 main events, and then we also collaborate with other organizations, you know. And I think that's a big part of it, because like I'm building awareness, finding more about you all, and you all have been around like over 12 years. This has been around over 30 years. I think we just have to do a better job as far as a culture of
Right.
finding out, you know, what everyone is doing and find ways to collaborate instead of like compete with each other.
Yeah.
So, you know, this organization is designed for that specifically. Like how our motto is, you don't join us, we join you. So we try to find out like what's going on and how can we help get the word or help you with partner with you on the event and things like that. So we got a really dope lineup. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
coming out.
yeah, that's what I mean. I'm definitely going to be there. And you know, out of the 5 concepts, you know, all of them are equally important. You know, from education, artist development, you know, community improvement, social political activism, entrepreneurship. But to you, which one stands out the most to you? You know, because for me, entrepreneurship is the one that stands out to me because I've been an entrepreneur for the past 25 years or whatnot. So that really stands out to me. But it may be something different for you, or it may be all 5 of them.
I think for our chapter and for me, it just happens organically as people come involved. Like if you were to say, you know, I want to join next week or whatever, since you have a background in entrepreneurialism, then organically and naturally you'll be drawn to want to do events that are catered more towards that. You know what I mean? So me being an educator, education is going to be on the top priority of my list because that's just my background naturally and organically, my perspective where I'm coming from. So they're all equally important. But I think that, it all depends on who's involved and what your focus is. Like out in California right now, it's a lot going on with ICE and you know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
like the social activism part is real heavy with those chapters over there just because that's what's going on right now. So we're unique in that we can shift focus that way.
Cool. Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. As far as, the collective itself, you know, you brought the Atlanta chapter here a year ago. How has it grown or changed or expanded within that time frame, within that year since you started it here?
So it started with just me. We have now a core team of like 7 people that are helping to put on events. But we are building awareness. Like last year we did a panel during Women's History Month, and we were able to collaborate with there's a hip hop group on the campus of Spelman. So we brought out like Cyrock and Sparky D,
Wow.
Peppermint Gaddy, you know, just like a really nice like panel, and it was held on the campus there. We also did a social justice panel at Atlanta Metro College. So we had like Bim Joyner from Atlanta Influences Everything. We had the journal historian there. Just a lot of people. So in that aspect, we've grown as far as like building awareness and people starting to recognize who we are and what we're doing. So I'm really excited to have this event. It's a 3-day event. So it's Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So we have a lineup of panels and workshops and discussions with DJ Crescendo. He's going to talk about like old Atlanta, what it's like, you know, for DJs coming up in the early 90s. We have Professor Jay Rawls. He's on tour with Talib Kweli right now. He also has a book with John Robinson about how to leverage using hip hop in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Minister Server and New Face will be leading a discussion, like a community discussion on the state of hip hop, like where are we now, and what are our concerns and where are we headed. We have Aunt Francis. He's considered the godfather of Yeek. We are in Atlanta. A lot of people don't know that, you know, Atlanta has its own style, you know, its own flavor, and it has its own hip hop. So he's going to do a whole workshop on just like the Atlanta Yeek dance culture. Emil YX, he just received a medal, the highest medal of honor from the president of South Africa. He does a lot of work in South Africa with Hilda Hood.
Okay.
So he'll be here. We just have a real variety of things for people. So much. If you want more information, you know, you can go to the website,
Oh yeah.
hhcatl.org, and go to events, and it has a list of all the workshops and things that are for that weekend. So it's free, but you do need to RSVP if you plan to attend.
Yeah, because I looked on there. He's like having a what ATLian after party or something like that.
Yeah. We initially wanted to do that, but in light of the passing of Dress the Beatnik, they're gonna do something at MJQ that night. So rather than trying to compete, you know, we want to be there as well. So we're just gonna pivot and just try to encourage people to go to that instead. So we might have to shift that a little bit, but yeah, definitely. That was just the idea behind that was, you know, mixing like bass box with hip hop. Cause I have a pet peeve. I'm from LA, but, I've lived in Atlanta for over 15 years now. But I hate when people have the conversation of hip hop and they leave Atlanta out. Like New York was the only place to start hip hop, and they, you know what I'm saying? They the owners of it or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always trying to highlight what we have going on here, which is very special.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. You know,
it sounds to me like it's not just about music with you. It's more about making a difference. That's is that the main goal? Is that what's important to you, or?
Yes, definitely. I've dedicated my life just for the preservation of this beautiful culture that we have. First of all, that it's always more than the music. You know, you can go anywhere in the world and be a part of this community called hip hop. Go to Germany, you know, go to Brazil, you know, anywhere really. So, it's very important that I think kind of we take the reins, if you will.
Gatekeep.
Cause it's kind of, it's out there. But it's important for us to remember who we are and what it was built on. And bring it back to like those 4 main foundations, which was peace, love, unity, and safely having fun, you know? So you're absolutely correct. To me, it's personal. I'm very passionate about the culture.
Yeah, we can hear it. We can hear it.
Yeah.
And you know, speaking of hip hop and today's hip hop compared to, you know, even the golden era of hip hop and even hip hop back in the 90s, how do you all, I mean, maybe as an organization or as yourself, how do you navigate that with the messages that this generation is hearing compared to the messages that we were hearing or whatever, and you know, and kind of bridge that gap or whatever, and letting this generation know that hip hop is more powerful than what you are currently hearing or even seeing on the screen, and this is how hip hop started.
I think part of that, they have a artist network.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, that's a long list of people that do what we do all over the world. So like letting you know that there's a global connection there. And then also the fact that, like I said, our chapter is unique in that we operate as a community chapter. We're not affiliated with a college campus, but most of the chapters are student led.
Okay.
So, it's more from the perspective of their generation and where they're coming from, because that's where they are right now. So I think they do a good job that way of kind of like connecting the dots, if you will. So you have some of the OGs that's been around that serve as mentors to those students. But then they kind of organically again choose what issues matter to them most, and use hip hop on campus to kind of leverage that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I ask you right now to choose Ice Cube or DJ Quick?
What?
Yeah, Ice Cube or DJ. I mean, you from LA. Look, I
I
grew up part of my childhood in Inglewood, California. You know, my boy Gary.
I'm
That's
out here right now. I'm out here right
He,
now. So you got to,
That's
you got
what's
to choose.
up.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
messed up. But I would have to go with Quick though.
Really?
Quick from Treetop right down the block. What you mean? He went to
Yeah.
Vanguard. Like I'm from right over there, and then he got the dope beats. Like what?
There's no wrong answer.
I'm old enough to remember Quick is the name. Quick is the name.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man. He nice. He's still kind of relevant. I mean, Ice Cube is cool too, but he branched off to other things. He got a little Hollywood on us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you listen to it.
Right.
His last album was
I
pretty
make money.
good. He just dropped his last album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple bangers on there.
Yeah.
Are there any hip hop artists that really influence you right now, that you really listen to right now, that you like, all right, let me turn on my Spotify and what I'm saying, and zone out.
I refuse. Because originality is a must whenever I bust. Understand what I'm saying? So I cannot like dive into another artist's work that deeply, because I don't want to come out sounding like them in any type of way. There's a lot of artists that I do respect. But I am really stuck in the 90s. In addition, like I do a lot of things, but the other thing that I do is I'm the lead vocalist for a 90s hip hop and R&B tribute band. We're called No Diggity Band. So like in terms of my inspiration, it's always coming from that era, which I feel was like the golden era of the culture. So I enjoy, like, on one song I can be Pop, the next song I could be Biggie, then the next song I could be Jay-Z, then I could be Q-Tip. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole list, like it's so much fun. I just love that era of music. It was a time when I feel radio was desegregated, if you will. Like back then you could turn on the radio, hear Nirvana on one song, then LL Cool J on another song. You know what I'm saying? It was more about just good music back then. So that's like my main goal is just to make good music. Period. Point blank. That stand the test of time. You play it today, you know what I'm saying? And in 5 years from now, it still sound good. Like that's the Kelly Glow sound right there.
All right, Kelly Glow. Dr. Glow.
Yo, I was watching, I seen you on another show and you dropped a dope ass freestyle. I was like,
hey.
yo, who the fuck is this? I'm like, yo, that shit
was that the song? Because I saw that video, by the way.
That freestyle was dope. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Yeah, so you really be getting it in like that. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
So like, it's one thing to say you're hip hop, but are you really? You know what I mean? And like, I feel like that was open for discussion. Like I wanted to have that on the show. I was on a WREK last week, and they like artists to come in and do something live on the show. But it's sometimes when I see people and they say it's a freestyle and clearly it's written. Like clearly, like
Right.
so I'm like, I'm hip hop, but
Yeah.
did I miss something? You know what I'm saying? And
Well,
I'm talking about
where the freestyle
major
sound too perfect.
artists,
Yeah,
you
where the
know, like
freestyle.
major artists in there,
And you hear it on the
like
album later.
Yeah,
yeah, or whatever. So I'm like, okay, so we need to have the discussion. Like, it's our culture, but we leave it up to other people to define who and what we are and what we do.
Mm.
And we need to figure that out. So we had that discussion, like, basically, they were saying the way they understand it is like you have freestyle, which is rhymes that you already have premeditated, whether you wrote it or whatever, that no one has ever heard before. So in that moment, it's free of style. It's not stuck to a certain song or anything like that. You're just releasing it. And then you have off the top, which is extemporaneously, where you just making it up as you go along.
In the
But
room,
all
you
this
want
time
to
for me,
rap about
yeah,
rap about this, rap
right,
point.
exactly.
Mhm.
Like whatever. So I was all this time to me when I hear the word freestyle, I'm thinking definition number 2. You know
right.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying? The
but
person is making it up like right there
yeah, because I
Right.
think
in
that
time and
word,
space.
Yeah.
that word kind of grew because back then there was interchangeable because you say off the top of freestyle, you just say freestyle, but then later on it got saying off the top, and I thought
Yeah.
this was the same too as well. Now I do know
Yeah.
Luda, he can spit off the top. I seen it
Not uh-huh.
where I said, oh yeah, he's doing that. He's not none of that was like pre-written or nothing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
guess
I
it's
was just like, I was gonna like just challenge myself. I was like, well, when I want y'all to know when I say freestyle, I mean it's coming off the top. It's like in real time right now happening. So what I did was there's this app that called Rap Script,
Mhm.
and it throws a word on the screen. So in the studio, I had them pull up that app. And so during the freestyle, I was rapping the words that came up on the screen. Just so it'll be like proof and say, yo, like I really was going off the top. Now, like I personally, I'm a perfectionist. My off the top is not nearly as clean and it doesn't flow as well as like my written.
Mhm.
But I was just like, if I'm gonna be hip hop, I just, I'm gonna do it this way. That's just so y'all know, like this is how I'm coming. Can't say nobody wrote it like it's my words. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of that ghostwriting stuff going on. None of
yeah.
that. Like this is real hip hop over here.
So when it's all said and done, when it's all over and the curtain closes, Dr. Kelly Glow, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want your legacy to be, and what do you want people to come out thinking about you?
That's an awesome question. At the end of the day, I represent just light and love. So I just hope that anywhere that I go, this podcast, a show, meet me in person, I just hope that you feel like the light and the love emanate from me, and that somehow I made that my mark on the culture as well.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I mean, because we definitely feel your energy and your passion, and
Yeah.
it shows.
Mhm.
You know, and real quick, where can people find you online? On social media about you and Hip Hop Congress.
Yeah, so I have a website. It's www.kellyglow.com. Kelly is spelled Kelly, and Glow is spelled Glow. There's links there. All my social media is real Kelly Glow, not to be confused with the fake. So if you want to find me on social media, it's
Mhm.
real Kelly Glow. And then Hip Hop Congress Atlanta is HHCATL. So that's our social media and also our website.
Okay.
So we hope to see y'all come on out next
Good.
weekend. If you can be in the building, it's just going to be amazing energy. Centered on this beautiful culture. Meet some really great people, connect. You never know what could spark from just being in the building.
That's what's up.
So,
We would
I agree
definitely
with
be
that.
there.
Yeah.
Go out and support the 11th annual Hip Hop Congress, International Hip Hop Congress, starting Friday, June 27th. Go and support. Dr. Kelly Glow, we definitely appreciate your time. It has been a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got the dopest energy, you know what I'm saying, the passion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're really out here doing it, educating the youth, you know what I'm saying, within hip hop, you know, so we definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I definitely appreciate it. Your energy was just amazing. Yeah, I think you're serving a purpose.
Yeah.
I put it that way. Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold it
I
against you for
think
picking quit.
Yeah. Mm.
I mess with quit. I mess
No
with quit.
love lost.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yo, I appreciate you all, Kings. You know, continue to shine, you know, and just know that, you know, Kelly Glow, I'm with you.
That's what's up.
Appreciate that.
Musiclifesocial, y'all.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right.